Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Saturday. Today is August 1st. Where has the time gone? This year is going by quickly, and the Del Mar meet is, nearly half over. So, been some really nice prices there. Best thing about that, if you can catch some of those, you'll get paid handsomely. Let's get started where the turf meets the surf. We'll get started with a little Bing Crosby to get us going here. So as Bing Crosby said, where the turf meets the surf down at Old Del Mar, that is where we will go. I'm going to skip over the first several races. We got a late pick 5 that I'm going to play here, which does start in the 7th race of the day. They got a long card here. So 7th race does start that late pick 5. Approximate post time, about 5:10 Pacific, so 7:10 here in the evening in the Central Time Zone. We are starting out here with a maiden claimer, $50,000 claiming race here, 3-year-olds and up. These are fillies and mares. They're going a mile on the turf, so 2 turns there on the turf. I've got 3 horses here that I'm going to put in to get this ticket started. We're going to start out with the one horse being Silky Savai. Silky Savai out of the Phil D'Amato barn. Juan Hernandez takes the call. Both D'Amato and Hernandez been doing very well at the Del Mar meet. This horse, she's dropping into maiden claimers for the first time. She'd been running in some special weight races in her 4 starts here in Southern California. Originally, she'd come from Ireland. So, they're pulling the plug on this horse. In some sense, they're probably just finding a spot where they can win with her. So, when these horses drop in from the special weights, they do get much faster. Nice post here. At 4-1, Silky Savai should be dangerous. Going to put the 3 horse who is Zaraya from Michael McCarthy, Umberto Rispoli on the horse here. Now this horse, interesting, this horse scratched out of a race a couple days ago in favor of this race. So my guess is they were looking at this field, thought it was easier. They scratched out of that one. They remained in this one. This horse is 3-1 in the program. Probably going to be your favorite. McCarthy trains. Umberto Rispoli rides. Now this horse also had been running in special weights. Really just not getting it done there. They tried a maiden 50,000 claiming race over at Santa Anita in early June. It was a sprint race at 6.5 on the flat grass. And she had done some nice work there. She had ended up coming second to Egyptian Mistress. And I think that might be a live race here. We had the 3rd place finisher, Waniko. Waniko ended up winning at Del Mar a couple days ago. Zaraya, I'm going to trust Michael McCarthy. There's probably a reason they scratched out of there, thinking maybe this will be the easier spot to win. So we'll put the 3, Zaraya, in there. And then finally going to put the 10 horse. 10 horse being Sensational Dream. Sensational Dream comes in for Adam Kitcheman. Hector Barrios takes the call. Now I believe Hector's riding. There hasn't been any switches. There were some switches yesterday, but looks like he's listed. I don't see any changes, so we're going to expect Hector Barrios is riding. This horse has been running in the maiden claiming level in her last several starts for the Kitcheman barn. She comes in at this level again. She shows a couple good races over at Santa Anita in her last couple. Her last race specifically looks like a pretty live race. Robin with a Y was a nice winner there that day. Looks like there were a couple winners that come out of that field there that were off the board that day but came back to win. So maybe that's a live race. Sensational Dream. Hector Barrios seems to have a knack for that turf course at Del Mar where he seems to save a lot of ground, and you just see him finishing up really nicely in the stretch, so he's giving horses really good rides. So I could see him maybe doing that here with the 10 horse Sensational Dream. So we're going to put the 1, 3, and 10 in the 7th race. All right, let's go to the 8th race of the day. 8th race is a first level allowance race with an option to claim for 50. A couple are in for that 50 tag. That's what makes them eligible here. They're going 6.5 on the dirt. And, there's a big scratch here. The 1 horse Sensaba is scratched. So I think that takes out a good amount of speed out of this race. But I've got a single that I'm going to make here. And I'm really taking a chance here because I'm hinging the day on someone I normally wouldn't do that with. I'm going to single the 10 horse, who is Santarena. Santarena comes in for Mark Glatt. Mark Glatt puts Julien Leperoux on the horse. I really wish he would have put somebody else on the horse other than Leperoux. But, I've liked this horse in the past. This horse always seems to run up against some monster, and it's just been his unlucky deal in his career. He's just come up against some really nice horses, has run well with them, but just hadn't gotten it done. And that continues. You see that his last running line, he came second to Captivator, who was a nice winner at Santa Anita in June, and then followed that up with a really nice win at Del Mar yesterday. So Captivator's a serious sprinter. So Santarena ended up running against him. So in looking at this field, I don't see any monsters like Captivator or Crude Velocity, or he even ran against Flightline's little brother a couple times. So Santarena, I think it's time to get it done here. 6.5, I think, is a perfect distance. This horse won at 6.5, broke his maiden back in 2025 at Santa Anita. That day they took the lead with him and just kept going. I'm going to guess a stalking trip out here from the 10 hole, and I just hope Le Peroux's good enough to get that done. So Julian, show me you could ride. We're singling you here in the 8th race on the 10 horse at 8-1 in Santarena. All right, let's go with the 9th race of the day. 9th race. This is a California allowance race, first level allowance with option to claim for 20. And as I peruse this field really quickly here, I don't see any horses in for the claiming price. So this is your true allowance race. There are no horses in for the claim tag. So they're going 5 furlongs on the grass. So certainly, fast sprint here. I'm going to put 5 horses in this race because I just don't know. I thought it might be as simple as putting the 3 in and singling his horse for the speed that he has, and he's shown the ability at this distance on this turf. But I don't know, something makes me think there might be a little more cooking here in this Calbred race. We're going to put 5 horses in. We're going to put the 1 horse was Wiki Kane for Adam Kitcheman, Juan Hernandez from the rail. This horse got it done at 5 furlongs at Del Mar last year. We haven't seen this horse in a while. Maybe Kitcheman has this horse ready off the bench. He seems to have his horses firing fresh. So Wiki Kane at 6-1 could be dangerous. We'll put him in there. Going to put the 3 who is Ballyvon Gig for Isidro Tamayo and Edwin Maldonado. And you'll see a lot of running lines here. This horse, they brought this horse over to Del Mar last year from Emerald Downs. This horse ended up, blazing a field at 5 furlongs on the grass. Ended up winning that day, and I see the horse was disqualified from purse money. So that shows that he didn't win, I guess, in technical terms. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a penalty, a violation. I don't know what happened. But that makes this horse eligible back for this condition again where he's already won. So 3-1. We know there's one way to go with Ballyvon Gig is speed. I don't think anyone gets out ahead of him, but we'll see if he could last. 3-1 on Ballyvon Gig. We'll put him in there. Going to put the 5 horse. 5 horse being Seen by Me for Mark Glatt. Ismael Jaramillo on the horse. This horse is a little lightly raced. 4 starts, a win, a second, and a third. So certainly, knows how to hit the board. Horses run some nice races. I just wonder if the 5 furlong grass distance and path there on that 5 furlong grass will do this horse well. 4-1, we'll put this horse in. That's the 5 horse Seen by Me. Going to put the 8 horse was Gray's Boy. Gray's Boy for Vladimir Serene, Kazushi Kimura, 5-1 in the program. This horse ended up coming out of a live race last time, out of a live starter allowance race. The Steak Fries came out of that race, ended up winning. DeCapo just won yesterday. That's a live race. He came 4th that day. He ran a nice race. He has 2 races over the Santa Anita turf course on that 6 furlong flat grass. Doesn't always translate to this 5 furlong at Del Mar, but as I said, I think there's a pretty open race. Maybe Kimura has this horse running late. And then finally going to put the 10 horse, who was Miles Finch for John Sadler and Joel Rosario. Now, we finally seen Rosario riding yesterday. He got a few wins. I don't know if this is going to just jumpstart his meet or what it's going to do, but we know Rosario can ride horses. Certainly could win races and wins for John Sadler, which he also did that yesterday. Miles Finch has some experience over the grass, having 8 starts, a win, a second, and 3/3. Has a couple starts over the Del Mar grass, but those were at a mile, which he didn't do too well. So I'm thinking Miles Finch probably does want to sprint. 8-1, we'll put him in there. So we've got the 1, 3, 5, 8, and 10. All right, let's go to the next race of the day. The next race being the 10th race. This is our feature race of the day. This is the Grade 1 Clement L. Hirsch. Grade 1, always a wonderful race. Some of the biggest stars that we've seen in the Distaff division have won this race in years past. They're going 1 1/16 around the Del Mar dirt course. They boost the purse up to $400,000 here. I'm going to put 3 horses in this race here. I hope one of these gets this done here. I'm going to put the one horse who is Chasten. Chasten for Brad Cox and Juddmont Farms. Florent Giroux comes in to ride this horse here. Now, Chasten, certainly because it's a Juddmont horse, certainly there's a level of class there. Breeding is always exceptional with their horses. This horse has a nice record, 4 wins out of 8 starts. I just wonder, if she's got, breeding says class. We'll see if she has enough class to win this race. She ran one time in a Grade 1 in the La Troenne over at Churchill Downs on Derby weekend. She ended up running an even race there. I think she's facing a lighter field than that race was. So, could put her up here, more closely, and she could finish up here at 4-1. So we'll put her in there. Going to put the 3 horse, who is Almond Joy. Almond Joy for Aggie Ordonez and Kent DeSormo. Now, Kent DeSormo should, just have a shrine to Aggie Ordonez because she's really been propping up his career for the last 2 years now. They've been a nice team. DeSormo seems to come out and ride well for Aggie Ordonez. Aggie Ordonez is really someone to root for. She seems like such a nice person, and when they win, they're really excited, and it seems really nice. So I like rooting for Aggie Ordonez horses. DeSormo's been on this horse many times, as we've seen. This horse has certainly gotten it done in all different levels, different distances. She definitely likes Del Mar, two wins out of 4 starts and 2/3. She really showed me a lot last time at Santa Anita in this Grade 2 Santa Margarita. She ended up beating Simply Joking and Seismic Beauty and, beat those horses on the square. So I think there's going to be some speed. DeSormo really knows this horse, has done a good job with her. She'll be coming late. We'll see if they cook it up a little too fast early. Almond Joy will certainly be finishing. Let's hope the mile and a 16th is long enough for her, but we'll put her in. And then finally, I will put the 8 horse, who is Seismic Beauty. Going to give her another chance here for Bob Baffert and Juan Hernandez. This is your defending champ, having won last year's edition of the Clement L. Hirsch. This year's been a little different. I mean, she's only had 1 start this year. She came out in the Santa Margarita. In a small field there, she came 3rd out of 4 horses. Just looked like, she kind of got her doors run off by Simply Joking. We'll see if she turns that around on Simply Joking. I think Simply Joking is going to definitely go for the lead. We'll see if Seismic Beauty presses her. If she does, it could do well for her, or could set it up for one of the others. So we're going to put the 1, 3, and 8 in the Grade 1 Clement L. Hirsch. Let's go to the last race of the day. Last race being the 11th race. Mile and a 16th on the grass, so they go into that inner chute there and the infield and come around one time to go a mile and a 16th. These are maidens, claimers, $50,000 claimers, 3-year-olds and up, open company. As these maiden claimers always seem to be, they're pretty open races and tough. I've got 3 horses I'm going to put in here. I think one of these 3 will get it done for us. We'll have a live ticket going in and see what we can do here. Going to put the 1 horse who is Fausto. Fausto for Bob Hess, Armando Ayuso on the horse. Now, Hess and Ayuso have certainly done some nice work over time. They make for a nice team. Ayuso's been on this horse in his last 4 starts. Having run some nice races certainly could put him squarely into the play here in this race. These maiden 50,000 claimers, they'll show you a good race and they'll show you a not so good race. So it's hard to trust them, by singling horses. But Fausto should be right in the mix of things. Inside post, should get a good trip. Ayuso 5-1 will put Fausto in here. Going to put the 7 horse. 7 horse being Like and Subscribe. Adam Kitcheman, trainer. Kazushi Kimura. Now, I've got Kitcheman a few times here, so I'm thinking Kitcheman's got some live horses today. This horse comes over from Oaklawn Park. I know Kitcheman had a string of horses at Oaklawn this past winter and spring. This horse ran twice over there on the dirt and sprints. One race not so good, one race not bad, having run a 3rd place finish when they dropped this horse into 50,000 claimers. This horse has had some time off, so maybe something went amiss. I suppose the horse hasn't been out in several months. But I like the works, and I like Kitcheman off a layoff. You'll see if this horse might be good enough at 8-1. Kazushi Kimura certainly can ride the turf course. I think Like and Subscribe will be a possibility here, and I like the Like and Subscribe. That's kind of what we do here at Fast Horses today. And finally, we're going to put the 10 horse, who is Timmy. Timmy comes in for Brian Lynch and Juan Hernandez. Now, Lynch sent over a few horses over from Churchill Downs. I'm not exactly sure who's taking care of the horses there for Lynch. I don't suppose that he's at Del Mar, but this horse, like a few of them here. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, big purchase price. They're running in for $50. This horse originally did cost $300,000, so certainly didn't live up to that, billing at $300,000. This horse has run many races at the maiden special weight level. They put the horse in once for $75 in his last start at Churchill Down. He ran for a maiden $75,000, claiming probably ran his best race, or right there, to be his, one of his better races. So I think the drop in here for $50. We've seen some of the shippers do well at Del Mar. I just think this is kind of a weak field. Hernandez has been riding really well, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't want to get a win for Brian Lynch. It could serve him right, and sometimes Hernandez goes over to Keeneland, maybe get a ride or two if he can get it done on Timmy. So Timmy is 7-2, and we're going to put him in there. We got the 1, 7, and 10. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the bets. Okay, so for Del Mar, Saturday, August 1st, we're going to play a late pick 5. Late pick 5 does start out in the 7th race. In the 7th race, we're going to start it with the 1, 3, 10. With the 10. With the 1, 3, 5, 8, 10. With the 1, 3, 8. With the 1, 7, and 10. Now that ticket today is a $67.50 play. Remember that 50 cents? Gotta have to pay that. If you like it, want to play as is, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to add or subtract to that ticket, I wish you the best of what you decide to do. If you want to play the pick 3s within it, or play the pick 4 within it, whatever you decide to do, I wish you the best. Let's hope we can get that single home in Santorino with Le Peru. So as always, I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today and listening to the picks. Thanks to everybody who hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you. You can always like, dislike, make comments, make good comments, make bad comments. But do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. So as always, thanks so much. Let's make this a good day. Let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a safe day of racing and good trips for us. And we'll be back for more coverage where the turf meets the surf. At Del Mar, we will see you back for more coverage soon. Thank you.